This truck built the Burj Khalifa. It poured the foundations of the Palm Jumeirah. And starting in 2024, the government that commissioned all of it is effectively banning it from the roads that made it possible. A standard concrete transit mixer, the workhorse of Dubai's $2.85 billion ready-mix concrete industry, runs about $90,000. And the United Arab Emirates just made it illegal to operate one at full capacity on its own federal roads. This is not a safety recall. The truck has not changed. What changed is a double regulatory squeeze that hits small concrete operators from two directions at once, and nobody is talking about how bad the math actually gets. In this investigation, we expose the weight trap that makes your truck illegal at a full drum carrying 10 cubic meters, the road band network that keeps shrinking your delivery window, and the 90-minute biological clock inside that drum that can turn a $90,000 asset into a debt machine faster than you can get to the job site. The first villain in this story is a number. That number is 34. For decades, the United Arab Emirates concrete operators ran their trucks the way the market demanded, fully loaded. 3-axle transit mixers carried 10 cubic meters of concrete per trip, and the gross vehicle weight often reached 37,000 to 39,000 kilograms. These trucks moved through Dubai's road network without any meaningful weight enforcement. They had cover for this. The United Arab Emirates enacted a federal vehicle weight law in March of 1986. That law was quietly deactivated within a decade of its own passage. Academic research confirmed what operators already knew. For decades after deactivation, overloading accelerated. A weigh-in-motion study of Abu Dhabi's heavy vehicle traffic found 61% of trucks passing through monitoring stations were overloaded. That was not a few rogue operators. On September 4th, 2023, the UAE cabinet ended that era. New federal law, effective October 1st, 2023. Penalties beginning February 1st, 2024. And the critical number for any 3-axle vehicle is 34 tons maximum gross weight. That sounds reasonable until you do the math nobody in the announcement explained. Concrete weighs 2,400 kilograms per cubic meter. A 10 cubic meter drum at capacity is 24,000 kilograms of load before you have added the truck itself. A typical 3-axle chassis runs about 13,000 kilograms empty. That puts you at 37,000 kilograms gross, 3,000 kilograms over the legal limit. The enforcement mechanism is not a cop with a scale. The United Arab Emirates has installed 24 smart electronic gates on federal roads, equipped with 3-dimensional laser scanners and high-resolution cameras, operating at 98% accuracy. They process every truck, automatically, every pass. Fines are 400 to 600 dirhams per excess ton, capped at 15,000 dirhams per trip. Repeat violations within a month, and your truck is banned from United Arab Emirates roads for 30 days. The government's own pre-law study acknowledged 28% of all truckloads in the United Arab Emirates exceeded the new limits at the time the law passed. They did not discover the problem. They built the gates for it. Taiwan implemented similar weight rules for its concrete truck fleet in 2004. Before the law, operators ran 8 to 9 cubic meter loads. After the law, effective capacity fell to 3.5 to 4 cubic meters, cut in half. Transportation costs rose accordingly. But the weight trap is only half the story. Because even if you reduce your load and run compliant, the road you need may now be closed. Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority has been executing a systematic multi-year expansion of truck movement restrictions across the Emirates road network. Al Ittihad Street has a permanent 24-hour truck ban. Meydan Street has a permanent 24-hour truck ban. All road crossings are permanent. Sheikh Zayed Road and the residential corridors near Sharjah are restricted for 16 hours a day, leaving a 4-hour window in the middle of the night. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, the main freight artery between Dubai and Sharjah, had its restrictions expanded in April 2024 to cover both morning and evening peak hours. Emirates Road acquired a new ban effective January 1, 2025, from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. toward Sharjah. Every one of these restrictions is legal under RTA, Law Number 4 of 2021, which grants the authority unilateral power to determine when and where trucks may operate on any road in the emirate. No legislative vote, no appeal mechanism in the law. The RTA studies the road, coordinates with Dubai police, and announces the restriction. And in 2024, 792 violations were recorded under existing bans. To handle trucks that now have nowhere to go, the RTA built 19 truck rest areas positioned at the beginning and end of restricted zones. The rest area solution tells you everything about the intent. Trucks are not being rerouted. They are being stored, and they are waiting there with a drum that does not stop. Ready-mix concrete is a perishable product with a legally defined delivery window and must be discharged within 90 minutes of batching or within 300 drum revolutions, whichever comes first, and that is industry standard under ASTM 94. In Dubai, summer heat, regularly above 45 degrees Celsius, that window compresses significantly. Dubai Municipality's own technical standard, DMS 0262-2018, requires ready-mix plants to run flaked ice and chilled mixing water just to keep concrete viable long enough to reach the job site under normal conditions. When a road ban forces a detour or holds a truck at a rest area waiting for the restriction window to lift, the clock does not pause. The concrete continues to hydrate. A load that was legal and viable when it left the plant becomes a drum of hardening material by the time the road opens. That's not an inconvenience. That's a total loss. And the third factor closes the trap on the economics entirely. Here's what the regulatory structure has actually done to the business model. Reduce your drum from 10 cubic meters to 7 cubic meters to stay compliant with 3-axle weight limits, and revenue per trip falls by 30%, while fuel, labor, maintenance, and depreciation remain the same. To deliver the same volume of concrete per day, you now need 30% more trips. Need the same output without adding trips? Buy 4-axle trucks at higher purchase and registration cost than the 3-axle fleet you already own. The large construction conglomerates operating at Dubai's megaproject sites, Expo City, Dubai Creek Harbor, and the government infrastructure programs run batching plants on site. Their concrete never touches the public road network. The weight gates and road bans are invisible to them. The squeeze lands entirely on the independent, ready-mix operators running transit mixer fleets to serve the thousands of smaller projects that make up this city's actual construction activity. A peer-reviewed study of UAE land transport operators found that 95% accepted the weight law as legitimate. Their primary concern was the increase in operational costs it would impose. They were not contesting the regulation. They were absorbing it. The UAE government projected the weight regime would save 200 million dirhams annually in road maintenance. The road infrastructure benefits. The operators who built their businesses around the prior enforcement gap, a gap that lasted 30 years after the 1986 law was deactivated, absorbed the cost of closing it. Here is what survival looks like right now. Reduce drum size to 7 to 8 cubic meters maximum, and accept the per-trip revenue reduction. Build the road restriction map directly into dispatch scheduling. Do not let loads leave the plant when the route is in its ban window. Use ice-cooled concrete and chilled water batching to recover every possible minute of the 90-minute delivery window. If capital is available, evaluate the 4-axle upgrade path, because the 3-axle economics have structurally changed. Operators serving projects within industrial zones with private site access are the safest play. So are batching plant operators supplying direct to site without transit mixing on public roads. This story is not really about trucks. It's about who controls access to a construction market at the moment it is growing fastest. Who absorbs the cost of a regulatory gap that lasted 3 decades? What happens to the independent operators who built a skyline when the rules change overnight after a generation of operating under the old ones? The trucks that poured those foundations are now negotiating with the same roads they helped build. If that pattern sounds familiar, where regulations protect public infrastructure while shifting costs onto small operators, it keeps showing up. Every week on this channel, we find another version of it. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing it clearly.